Okay, welcome to a VIP Q&A session with William Murray from jvfocus.com. We are just going to have a very, very informal chat with some VIP members today, and we'll get the recording up to jvfocus probably tomorrow. Okay, Ahmed, I'm just going to unmute you. So if you've got any questions, ask away. Ahmed, are you there? Okay, I don't think Ahmed's got audio at the moment. Could be on his phone, I suspect. Right, I'll just mute you up, Ahmed. Gordon, I'm just going to unmute you. So I hope you're ready. Gordon?
Of course you are. How are you, Willie?
Yes, not bad. Yourself?
Yeah, I'm very well, thank you.
Good.
For 1:30 in the morning, I'm pretty good.
It's still quite early then.
Oh yeah.
So, any questions? What you've been up to?
I've been offline quite a bit the last couple of days, sitting down with pen and paper, drawing up plans, and trying to put something together in pieces that make sense, that sort of work out over a timeline. I'm finding it a lot easier to work with than trying to work with it on screen, which has been quite good because the distractions I've been letting social media and even jvfocus sort of take a lot more time than what they should have. But I've been trying to put together expert paths now for well over a year. And one of the things I've been struggling with is making it everything that I want it to be, and to be everything for everybody. But I need to get some products out into the marketplace from all of the information that I've got to share with people. But where to begin was probably the hardest thing. I'm going back a step with expert paths to try and help people put a plan in place for building a real business, not just a business based on, hey, here's an idea, I'm going to go out and teach something.
Sure.
I'm actually going to try and help people with the most of the fundamental things, as in basic business structure type lessons.
Yeah.
But even before that, I will go through something. I'm going to launch a product that I call Recovery Mode. And Recovery Mode is something that I used when I found things got tight at times. I was able to go and turn an income from local businesses, basically. Selling either a product or a service at any given time was able to keep me and my head above water when we were struggling, while I was trying to put together information products that were taking a long time to put together. So right at the moment, I'm sort of putting together a timelined product based on stabilizing a person's financial position, and then moving from that into getting some business basic foundation knowledge, and then moving on to several structured models for launching online-based businesses. And what will happen is it'll...
With your recovery type related product, are you targeting offliners there or
well,
what?
The idea is to actually give people a bit of a shake-up and say, hey, if you need to make an income, look at your local market. One of the things that I struggled with when I first started putting this type of information together was I needed an income, and I'd pretty much walked away from a business that had failed 3 years earlier. I'd spent 2 years sitting and watching experts put together products. I wasn't really interested in launching a product in the low ticket space. So I watched every expert that was out there, and I'm talking people that are not in the low ticket space, but the high end of the market. And while I sat there for up to 20 hours a day watching video, watching product launches, studying all these guys, and trying to get as much information as I could about them, sort of satisfying my own attention deficit disorder, I ran out of money. And it was quite simple. I needed to go into what I call recovery mode. I needed to be able to earn money. And when you're in that situation, it's great to turn around and say the money's in the list. the money can be made online. I can turn a profit in 24,
Yeah.
48 hours. But when you want to feed your family today,
Exactly. Yeah.
there's only one place to do it, and that's to go to the local town, to the local street, walk from one end of the street to the other, and knock on doors. You can walk out the door with cash doing that. But when people are trying to make a recovery like that and they're doing it online, they're battling against a number of things. And it also includes things like, I've just made some money and now I'm going to wait 5 days for it to arrive in my bank after PayPal pays it out. So what I'm talking about is something that anyone can take to put a few dollars in their pocket rapidly if they need to.
So when do you expect to take this one to market then?
I expect that I'll have the foundation of everything ready by about the middle of next week.
Have you, it sounds like a bit of a silly question, but have you put the feelers out with other marketers to see if your viability of your angle and your hook and your product will be a potential winner or not, and get some feedback on what they want?
My initial plans were to promote it using paid traffic rather than going and asking anyone to support it before I tested it.
No, this is more the viability of the product, if it will actually sell, if it'll be appealing to your potential target market, just to do a bit of research on it to see if it's what people want in the first place, see if it's going to have a wide enough reach for you.
Okay, yeah, I can understand what you're saying. The simple answer is no, I haven't. And what I was planning on doing was taking the approach of, as I said, go and put some together some paid traffic to send it some, to see if anyone will buy it. But at the same time, I also realised that I'd have to go and find some people in potentially offline markets to be able to help test it as well, to find out whether it is viable. Because I don't believe it's something that everyone can go and sell. I believe it really is an offline. It is an offline product, despite it being able to be used by pretty much anyone in any market.
Yeah, I mean, my best advice would be is to try and get a small handful of people in to test what it is you put together and get some feedback before you chuck some paid traffic at it. You should be able to do that quite quickly, even if you just get them on a call, on a webinar, and go through your rough outline of what it is you're teaching and get some initial feedback so you can do some tweaking. And you just tweak as you go. It's the best will in the world. You're never going to get whatever it is you're working on perfect. And there comes a point where you need to release it to the market and get real feedback. And,
And that I planned on doing by about the middle of next week.
Yep.
And although I want to use some paid traffic to it, I can't afford massive budgets to send a lot of traffic. So I would have been asking for someone to give it a go. And that'll probably be someone that I know, someone from the people that I've met throughout the last year and a half through JV.
I guess
JV Central and jvfocus.
I guess what I'm trying to say is that we've talked about this before, where you should have released Expert Pass about a year ago, and we're a year on and it's still not released yet. And it's just, if you take jvfocus for example, I could have developed that platform for another year quite easily before releasing it, to try and get every element of it perfect and polished and so on and so forth. But the reality is it needs to be released even when it's not perfect, and you develop and evolve your product as you go. So it's just really important to try and get something out there.
I think I've put Expert Pass on a bit of a pedestal, that I want it to be a premium product that's at a reasonable price. And
but if nobody's going to see, if no one's going to see the light of day of Expert Pass, so it's never going to be anything.
What I'd actually scoped out, William, to make sure that it did see the light of day, was a path to get me to it. And I think part of it is actually building up my confidence that I'll be accepted by the marketplace as an expert myself. And what I did was I actually put together a recovery mode as something that could be sold as an individual product, then moving on to some business foundation type lessons, which will be home business learner. And then off of the back of that, within the timeline, was to become was Expert Paths. And at the point where we've got expert paths created, I would then offer 3 products simultaneously, which all had information prepared and ready to go, which was allowing people to come in to a timeline that would take them through. I'm struggling. I probably shouldn't. As I look back and have a look at business failures over the years, they got as many good lessons in them as what business successes do.
Yep.
And what I've found is that the failures have always been the underfunded ones, the ones that I've sort of gone with gusto into, but not had funding behind, and I've been able to sell more of them. I'll give you an example. I ran a computer networking business for a while. It was actually a web design business. We took on a computer networking guy for our own needs. We didn't need him. Business evolved, and we started hiring him out to our clients. And within a couple of years, we were pretty much doing nothing but computer network support and maintenance for small businesses. And putting ourselves in that position was a big change that we weren't financially prepared for, because my background being sales, I was able to sell more than I could supply, mainly from a hardware perspective. And I was always pulling in the dollars so I could buy the next amount of product that I sell, because I sold because I would outsell my ability to supply, which kept us in a fairly cash flow tight position for many, many years. And eventually I took on a partner, and we had a disagreement within a couple of weeks, and it all fell apart, and we pretty much lost everything about 3 years ago because of that. But a lot of it, in hindsight, I actually made a product for a local financial services company called Cash Flow Crisis. And as I reflected back on my own situations throughout the years, I don't believe that there was actually a cash flow situation that couldn't have been overcome with a little bit of sitting down, having a little bit of focus on how to overcome the problem. And I suppose what I'm trying to do is put together a path here that teaches people they should start from a situation where they're not leaving a job early, or if they've left a job early, that they put some funds behind them, and then get a little bit of business knowledge, and then move into that expert path a little bit longer, a little bit further down the track. And I suppose I should be prepared to sell anyone anything if they're prepared to pay the price for it. But I'd really like to teach people how to do it right. And right here and now, I'm actually writing that plan, which should have been written about 12 months ago. Okay.
Well, it'll be interesting to see where you're at sort of mid next week. You can drop me a message.
I have broken it down into 3 individual products. So recovery mode will go out by itself.
Yeah.
The next one will be Home Business Learner, which is something I prepared going back 12 months ago. When I arrived in WSO JV Central, I arrived looking for affiliates for Home Business Learner, and I'd spent 3 months building it. But there was a lot of PLR content in there, and my pride wouldn't allow me to release a website full of PLR content, which was probably foolhardy at the time. I put so much time into it. But I've got so much that I'm going to add to it of my own, and it's all mapped out now, something that wasn't mapped out before, some basics to do with business as well as online business, teaching people some things that they really should need to know before they go into business. And there's enough online stuff, content in there as well, that I believe that it will have a broad appeal. But that should be ready. I'm looking at about a 3-month timeline. I'm looking at recovery mode coming out within a couple of weeks, ready to sell. I'm looking at Home Business Learner in about a month's time, and then Expert Path about a month after that.
Okay. And
there is a structured path there now, whereas previously it was, I'm going to do it, it looks good. There just wasn't enough down in writing for me to feel comfortable that I was actually planned well enough to deliver what I was telling people I wanted to deliver. And that means more to me than anything, is making sure that I don't just deliver but over deliver.
Yeah, and on the flip side of that as well is that you need to deliver it fast and get it into market. You can always add to it after or tweak it.
Look, recovery mode has been mapped out, and the way that it will be delivered is there will be some fundamental lessons in there. And despite it being something that I can turn around to you and say, look, I went and knocked on doors, and I'd walk in and I'd say, hi, my name's Gordon Russell, and I'm a web developer. I'm building up a portfolio at the moment, and I've got some, I want to take on some clients fairly quickly, so I'm doing some great deals on websites. Something I'd normally sell for $1,000 to $2,000, at the moment I'll do for about $500. There were days when there were some times in the last few years where I've gone through some depression as well, with things being as interesting as they have been. But I'd still walk in the door there, and I would turn around and say, look, I'm trying to put together a portfolio, and I'm prepared to build a website for people at the moment for nothing. And I'll do that for you as long as you're prepared to pay $220 for hosting for the next 12 months. And if I went and picked up 2 or 3 of those in a day, I'd pick up $400 to $600, and I'd walk home and have the money I needed to survive for the next week, pretty much at that stage.
No.
Excuse me. There were things that I could do that I could always sell something, but it didn't have to be websites. It could have been any product or service. Like I could have gone to, I don't know if you ever heard of things like Vistaprint, but Vistaprint prints stuff for next to nothing, and the cost of delivery is fairly low. I could walk into local businesses here and sell business cards for $99, and I could probably walk down the street and sell 5 or 10 of those a day.
Yeah. And
all of these things will be delivered as individual lessons, but although it's a very simple process, I do believe that someone should have about a week behind them to digest the information that I've got, and I will deliver the information over a week, not just dumped on them in one set of videos.
Okay.
It's going to be a taught path rather than here's a pile of videos, see you later. And I'd prefer that it doesn't end up being a $17 product, but it's actually a product in the region of about $47, which means that I'll probably deliver the initial lessons for a low cost, as in a lesson and a worksheet. But beyond that, they'll then pay a higher price for learning even further and putting themselves in a position where they can do things like overcome objections, work out how to pitch their offer, taking an order, then taking that information, and if they don't know how to even do it for themselves, outsource it for a low cost. In the situation of taking a $220 website, there's not a lot of profit in that. But if you were to outsource it for between $5 and $50, and you were doing 3 a day, there's still decent margin in a low-cost website like that, and there's not that much work if you're very structured in what you're offering people. 5 pages of information, an about us page, who we are, contact us page, products, services, a couple of other things. Keep it fairly basic. You can take that information off people probably in 15 minutes, half an hour, and as you're taking it, if you put it into the right format, you can basically scan that, send it off to an outsourcer, and have it knocked off in a day or 2 without you having to do too much of the work.
Okay. Well, just let me know how you go, Gordon. I'm going to have to pop on to the next caller, and
that's okay.
Just give me an update on like how you go with the first set.
I will do.
Yep. Okay, thanks, Gordon.
You're welcome.
Steve, I'm just going to unmute you. Ahmed, can you let me know in the chat box if you've got audio, or if you prefer to drop me a question in the chat box, then by all means do so. Darren, if you could let me know if you're good to talk, or if you'd rather put a question in the chat box, then the same thing. Hi, Steve.
Hi, William. How's it going?
Yeah, good, thanks. Good. Cool. Yourself?
Yeah, not too bad. I've been under the weather recently, a bit of a cold, but that's sort of to be expected this time of year, isn't it?
Manny flu.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So, what have you been up to?
One little. Oh, what have I been up to? Well, at the moment, I'm in the process of setting up some squeeze pages. Next week, I'm just going to be starting to collect email addresses, build up a sort of list which will eventually be used to launch the main product, which is a few months off yet. So yeah, I mean, I've been getting ebook covers made. I've been setting up squeeze pages. I've been investigating how it is that you do things like free WSOs and stuff. So that's kind of all go come Monday morning. So I'll be working on the rest of that today and tomorrow.
Sure.
Obviously, been pretty busy on jvfocus, just getting involved. I think that's a good outlet in terms of it's almost an opportunity to just get your name out there, really.
Yeah, definitely.
Because I was a complete unknown when I came along to it, and so on top of taking that chance to just sort of just people know who Steve Waller is then, and hopefully by getting out there and posting new threads, commenting on trades that other people start.
Sure.
Even things such as just even if you go along and you see something that's really valuable, you like it. And I noticed that whenever I log in, I get all these notifications saying so and so has liked your post. And that's the kind of good way to sort of I just obviously all the other members will probably be listening to this as a replay, but I just want to say to them, they've got to really get out there, they've got to engage, they've got to get involved, because the more you do, the more value you put into the community, the more value you'll get out of it.
Absolutely, yeah.
Not only in terms of getting your name out there, but I noticed that when Cheryl came to, she's obviously launching her product fairly shortly, and she's got some testimonials from various members. I think Gordon's one of them.
Yeah.
And it just shows that because she's participating, she can approach people like Gordon and say, hey, will you have a look at my product and let me know what you think, and maybe give me a testimonial, and that sort of thing's really valuable. But if you hadn't ever participated in the forum, and then you go and connect with someone, and they might be a bit like, well, I don't know who you are. So
yeah, I
just think everyone should get involved, basically.
Yeah, definitely. When is your main product out now? What date is it set to go out?
Well, at the moment, I think we're going to try and get beta testers on probably in the next couple of weeks.
Okay.
I'd imagine that would go through a period of about 2-3 weeks of that. I've still got quite a lot of work to do in terms of, I've written the sales page, but I haven't found someone to design it yet. I've got to do walkthrough tutorials of how the tool works.
Sure.
I'd imagine it'll be April before the product's actually launched. But this is something which, because it's such a big ongoing, software as a service type of product. So I know you said to Gordon about just release early and develop as you go. We are going to be doing a bit of that, because there's lots of features planned that are going to sort of be added on later on. But we've got to get the core crux of the software. It's got to be perfect in terms of it's got to function properly. Because if it doesn't function properly, then you lose someone. If they're paying on a monthly basis, you've lost them, and that's it. They're gone. I mean,
that's a different kettle of fish. Gordon has been, in the process of taking his expert past the market for a year now, so it's really a different kettle of fish. Gordon's very conscious that he gets things perfect before he releases it to any potential buyers. So,
sure.
Obviously, with software, it needs to function for a start.
Yeah, well, of course.
So you can't release it with a whole host of bugs and so on and so forth. And but even with software, you would release it with your core features, and you'll probably find within the first week, with customers giving you feedback, you've tweaked or added or taken away some elements of it. So
yeah. So, I mean, they'll probably have people come along and question, how do I do this? Can I do that? And we'll be like, oh, that's interesting. Add to that. I mean, it reminds me actually of I don't know if you've ever seen the film about how Facebook was launched, and I can't forget what it was called, but it was interesting to see how Zuckerberg had kind of just he launched it very basic and just added and added and added as he went. And I've read a lot of things about how that is a very sensible approach, because, like you said, you get people on board, you get people using it, and you learn a lot more through that.
Yeah, definitely. You get valuable feedback, and it's at the end of the day, you and I or anybody else can sit and debate or think about what our potential or ideal customer wants, but bottom line, they're the ones that tell us what they want. It's as simple as that. And you you can sit and chew it over for as long as you like until you ask them, what is it you really want? You're not going to know the answer, and getting that feedback when you release your product will give you that answer.
Yeah, precisely. I did actually have one little question that Gordon actually touched upon as well. I mean, I've written this down before we even began. He managed to bring it up within the first couple of minutes, I think. But I was wondering how important it is, or how important you think it is to sort of test the sales page with a bit of paid traffic before you sort of launch with affiliates. I mean, does it make it easier to actually get those affiliates on board if you said, look, we've spent, or we've delivered 10,000 clicks or 1,000 clicks to the sales page and it's converting at this and getting EPCs of this? Does that make them any more likely to jump on board?
From my point of view, I would rather try to get a private partner on board a few weeks before you're due to go live, give them exclusivity over getting their customers on board first, because their traffic is going to convert far much better than what cold traffic will convert to your sales copy. So that will give you really good conversion figures, really good EPCs that you can then take to potential partners when you go live.
Sure.
Putting paid traffic to any sales copy, I mean, you're probably looking at about between 1 and 3% conversion rates, and you really should be going for over 10% plus.
Okay, that's interesting.
You're not going to do that with cold traffic.
Sure, yeah. So obviously, if the partner can pre-sell it to their list.
Let me give you an example. So, your tool is SEO related, right? Yeah.
It is, yes.
Yeah. So, if I were you, I would be approaching Andy Fletcher and maybe get him on a call and see how he'd feel about doing a private promotion when your software is ready to go before it's released live.
Cool, yeah. I will do that.
Then that gives you your conversion figures. And also, I'm sure Andy would give you feedback on the structure of the funnel and price points of your funnel too.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, I'm not speaking on Andy's behalf here, but
no.
If I were you, I would be seeking out an authority figure in SEO to offer an exclusive thing before you go to market for real.
It's interesting you mentioned the funnel, because the way that the software is kind of set up is essentially you've got 3 different membership levels depending on how much they're going to be using it. Other than that, I mean, I don't have necessarily the funnel that would go with a normal product because of the very nature of it. I mean, I don't know what it is I can sell as a sort of extra product on top of this. Maybe because for what they're paying, I think they're expecting to have all of the video tutorials of how to use it as as part of the package. So yeah, funnel wise, I don't have any right now.
Some people have sold the strategy on the front end, stroke video training in a manual format, and then sold the software as that solution to speed things up as the actual upsell. So maybe that's the way you could position it.
Yeah, that's one way. I mean,
so they effectively use the front end as a lead generation tool to get more of a list. So I don't know what your software does off the top of my head, but say for example, you obviously were doing whatever it was that the software does manually at some point in time, then you've automated the process.
Yeah, that's not entirely too far away from the truth, because there was what the software is all about finding expired domains, and the way I've been doing it previously is to use a free tool that anyone can download, but it's very it's very time intensive because you have to sit there and copy URLs into like a domain checker, and then you go and check to see what backlinks it's got and all this other stuff. And I came up with a tool to sort of automate all of this.
Yeah.
So I could potentially sort of say, here's how you would do it. But do you not think the very fact that I'm saying here's a free tool that you can technically use to do it, would that not put some people off paying for my tool?
That's not what I meant. What I meant was some people in that situation, what they would do is they would sell the training or a PDF report in the front end saying, here's how I manually find expired domains, ones that have value and ranks and backlinks in my report. and here's how I've flipped those domains or used that domains, my blog network, so on and so forth. Then the upsell then would then be the software to automate that process. So
interesting.
Yeah,
Do you think that would that be a better approach? I
mean,
I don't know.
that bottom line, it comes down to how you want to structure your funnel. I mean, if you want to have your software as the main headline on the front end, then great. Then you can look at other things that you can put in your upsells. So it was just an alternative way of potentially approaching it.
I'll have to give this some thought, because I do think that the software is so strong in terms of its features. That
have the software showcasing
on the
front
end. Should be the front end.
Yeah.
And then try and come up with.
Well, for example, what do you use the domains for?
I personally use them as a private blog network.
Okay,
and I rank other sites within it.
So selling private blog networks as upsell is a potential upsell.
Yeah, I could do the whole, just take it as a service. Here's a 10-site network, and it'll cost you X amount. The thing is that would be a very high priced. I mean, we're talking a 10-site network could be at least, it could be up to $2,000.
Oh wow!
I don't know how that would be in terms of
that's
a bit much.
That wouldn't work at all.
No. I'll have to give it some thought. Actually, I have to give some thought in terms of what I could do.
Yeah, you just need to think. What additional benefits could they have to your software as an upsell that you could then sell in the funnel? Another thing might be, here's how I find expired domains and then flip them on for profit. After I purchase them with my software tool, and then I flip them for a profit, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And so you need to start thinking about what can you do that ties in with your front end that would really complement your front end.
I will do.
Yeah.
There'll be something. There'll definitely be this.
Oh, you'll come up with something.
It's an idea. Yeah.
That's the thing as well. If you connect with Andy, he knows you. He's seen your content. I'm sure he's interacted with you. If I were you personally, I'd be connecting and reaching out to him and getting on the call. And you never know, you can quite literally do some things, some brainstorming, and you might come up with some ideas together.
Yep, no, I'll be in touch with him very shortly.
Cool. Yeah, I'm just going to address a statement from Gordon. I know for a fact that Walt put his Webinar Express to market early because he knew that a similar product was about to be released, and that's why he went out early, half-cocked. So, yeah. That was Mark Thompson's... I forget the name of it, but it was a similar product. So Walt got in there first. It didn't have all the features, it wasn't anywhere near as sexy, but bottom line, he did a 6-figure launch with it and then added the features in after. So, yeah. Anything else, Steve?
No, not especially. I mean, I did, there's a few sort of things I'm probably going to message you about jvfocus in terms of the functionality and stuff, but that can I'm keep that behind the scenes.
I've got a quick call after this. I can give you a buzz on your mobile. Just drop me a message, your mobile number again. I don't know if I still have it.
No problem.
Hold on a second. Yeah, drop me a message with your mobile number, and I'll make sure to keep it this time.
All right, no problem.
Yeah, we can have a chat maybe in about an hour and a half or so.
Sure thing, yeah.
Cool, thanks, Steve.
No worries.
Catch you later.
Cool, take care.
Ahmed, you are the only person left. It looks like Darren's dropped off for some reason. I'm going to try to unmute you one more time. If you are not able to talk, then we will wrap this up. Ahmed, are you there? Okay, looks like he's not able to talk. Must be on his phone. Right, guys, thanks very much. I'm going to wrap this up. I will be in touch about our next call. I should have something organised next week, and hopefully it'll be Gaz Cooper. We'll get on a call with Gaz, and really nice guy. Really amazing backstory, and super successful in what he does. And that's it for now. We shall talk to you all later. Bye.